Okay, so mom number one, how did you find out that there was something wrong with your child?
She was acting strange about running around on October the 4th around 5 o'clock. I couldn't get her to come here. My neighbor, he was out there talking with the kids, and normally my child will walk up to my neighbor, and that time my child did not walk up to my neighbor. My child kept running around. My child would not come to me when I asked my child to do so. So therefore, my company that I had over, I asked my company what was going on with my child, and that's when my company told me that my child told my company that a boy at school pulled my child's pants down and put his finger in my child's private parts.
Okay, that's hard. I understand why you're pausing. That's hard to talk about. I get it. When was your company? Were they family?
Yes.
At that point in time, what did you do?
When my company told me, my first instinct is to get my child, to ask my child so I could get it out of my child, and my child said guess that a boy at school pulled my child's pants down and stuck his fingers up in my child's private part.
Did she tell you that?
Yes.
Did you?
She told.
How long was it before you went to the police with this?
Well, I asked my child a couple more questions to see when she could tell me where it happened and when it happened, and she did get it out of me. And then when I heard that, automatically my neighbor heard it too. My neighbor told me call the police, make a police report, so I did. As soon as I heard it, I picked my phone up and I called Sallisaw Police Department and told them that I needed to make a police report that my child was inappropriate touch at Sallisaw Public School on October the 3rd.
All right, so this happened on the 3rd, but she told you about it on the 4th?
Yes.
And then so you pretty much, as soon as you found out about it, that evening you made a report to the Sallisaw School Police Department?
Yes.
Mom number one, how long did it take for them to actually respond to this?
About 15, 20 minutes.
That's good. Mom number two, how'd you find out?
I got a call from the school on October 14th about 1:30 that there had been an incident with my child and that I needed to get to school right away.
And so, how long did it take you to get there?
It takes me about 25, 30 minutes or so.
And so you left. So as soon as they called you, you left.
Yeah.
Okay.
As soon as I got the phone call, I told my boss I was leaving. I had to go to school.
Okay. And so you got to the school. What happened?
When I got to school, I went into Mr. Jones' office where there was Mr. Jones and Katie Graham. And I had this look on my face, and Katie automatically says, "Your son's not guilty. He didn't do anything." And that was like a big relief. And then I seen the look on Mr. Jones' face, and he said there had been an incident on the playground that involved my son. And he looked at Katie, Katie looked at him, and that's when Katie told me that my son had been penetrated on the playground.
They used that word, penetrated.
Katie did, yeah.
And so,
and like motioned with his finger what happened.
wow. I can't imagine what that would feel like. I have no idea. I have no words. I'm sorry that you'd have to hear that from anybody.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Did they? What did they do after? When they told you, what did they do after that?
After they told me that Costco was waiting for us, the Child Safe Haven advocacy, and that we would go straight there.
Okay.
So they had to call my son out of class. They put him back in class after this happened on the playground.
So he went back to class? Was he with the kids that did it?
I'm not sure if the kids were in his class because everybody has different teachers. Like each fifth grade group has a different. And so I don't know if he was in the class with them. I don't think so. He never mentioned that they was in class together. But yeah, they sent him back to class until I got there, and then they had to call him out. Okay,
mom number one. What they do after you made the report? Did they want to do any type of exams or send you to any forensic interviews or anything like that?
At first, he didn't want to do it until I kept talking to him, and then
who's him?
Katie.
Okay, the same cop, the chief of police at Sallisaw school is who you were talking to?
Yes.
And he didn't want to do anything?
First, he didn't want to do it, and he said, well, Monday you think you could... And I'm like, don't that need to be started now instead of waiting Monday? He said, yeah, let me make phone calls and see. So he made a few phone calls. It took him a good 5-10 minutes to make, I guess, several phone calls. And then he come back and said, yeah, you think you can meet me and up at the Safe Haven to talk with someone at 7:15 p.m. that night? And I said, yes.
And so you took your daughter to Safe Haven?
Yes.
Did you, so mom number two, did you take your son to Safe Haven?
Yeah.
The same day?
Yes, like I wasn't at the school a total probably 20 to 30 minutes before we went to the Safe Haven.
What was the conversation in that 20 and 30 minutes? I mean, telling you that your son was penetrated on a playground takes just a few minutes, I'm sure. Was there, what did they communicate with you, anything else?
At that moment, honestly, it's just a blur. After they told me what had happened, I was just ready to get my son and pretty much get out of Sallisaw.
I get it. I totally understand. And so you took him over to Safe Haven, and who was there?
It was me and Jamie Phillips. She got there after we got there, and then I do not remember the girl's name who did his interview.
There's only two people over there. One of them's going to be Shauna Morris, or the other one's going to be Donna Owens.
She had short hair, blonde hair.
Okay, I've only seen them both one time in my life, and I don't.
That would be Donna Owens. She's talking about Donna Owens.
Okay, that's the girl that came out of that room whenever we were talking to Mrs. Shauna Morris.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so what happened over at Safe Haven? They did a forensic interview with the kids?
Yes, well, I sat in the lobby and filled out his intake forms.
How long did that take?
20 minutes, maybe.
All right, and then so the interview was only about 20 minutes long? And so, okay, and mom number two, how long were you there?
That was mom number 2.
Oh, I'm sorry, mom number 1. How long were you there?
About 20 minutes.
Same thing?
Yes.
Wow. After that, did they do anything else? So did they tell you to go home? Did they send you anywhere else to like a doctor or anything?
No.
No, they told us just to go home.
Wow. Did you disclose to them while you were there that your daughter had indicated to her that she's been penetrated?
Yes. Katie knew that. But Katie said that.
Go ahead.
Katie's told me since it's been 24 hours, there was no need to do a physical exam.
So Katie told you that?
Yes.
What, mom number 2? Mom number 2, did he reflect the same ideas?
I have no idea what was discussed between them and the school. I was just sitting straight there.
And so
I don't know who talked to the safe haven or what information was relied on, but she seemed to know what had happened when we got there.
Okay, and so was there any communication between Safe Haven and you, the parents, at any time at all?
No.
I mean, like, none? Like, you just took them in there and they talked to your kids and then you just left? They didn't...
She told me she was going to ask him a few questions, and that was pretty much it, and that I could fill out the papers.
And yes, that's what she told me as well.
And I know you guys said it was only a 20-minute interaction there. Like, so after your son went and got interviewed, obviously you weren't allowed to be in that interview room with your children. When the children come out, I mean, they didn't say anything to you, like, yeah, there's potential here that there's been penetration, or there's been maybe an assault in sexual nature, or did they just say, hey, have a good day, goodbye?
She told me that my son told her that it burned, it stung, and it felt like they hit bone.
That's what Donna Owens told you?
Yes.
It stung, it burned, and it felt like it hit bone. And
that's what he told her.
And how long did she tell you? How long was it from the time that happened to your son till she told you that?
His incident happened about 12:30. I was notified an hour after, so it was a couple hours. Wow.
Crazy. That's just crazy. Mom number 1, what did they say after they got done with the interview?
She said that my child wouldn't speak of it. She said that my child wouldn't talk about what happened to Donna Owens.
Not at all.
Not at all.
And so they said, okay, see you later. All right, so let's move on from there. I kind of got a really good picture of what happened that afternoon, and with both of you guys as far as how this is transpiring up to this point. So once the forensic interview was over, did you hear from anybody?
No. I didn't hear from anybody till I went back up to the school the next day to pull my son out.
What'd they say?
It was a different SRO that day, and he explained to me like what they was looking into, that they had interviewed several kids the night before, and that one of the kids he talked to was just absolutely wrecked over what happened.
So they
And
believe.
then I asked if I was able to see the footage, and that's when he said, yeah, we can go to my cop car and you can watch it on my computer, and that's what I did.
And that's mother number 2, right?
Yes.
Mom number 1, did they ever offer to look at video with you?
No. Katie and Jamie Phillips on the 8th of October come to my house. He called me. He said he was on his way with Jamie Phillips to tell me what they seen on video. And when they got here, I started talking to them, and most of them said they did not see anything besides an incident. My child was hanging on monkey bars, and a boy come along, put his hands on my child's hips, acts like he was gonna pull my child down.
Do they know? Do they know who that child is?
I don't know if they do or not because they didn't tell me, and I asked, and they wouldn't tell me.
So, so they offered no video surveillance to you, and I would imagine that, I mean, severe video surveillance is, I mean, there's dead spots. I wouldn't think that kids would know where they're at, but I mean, it would happen. There's potential that it could happen where there's no surveillance at all. What kid? Did they tell you like how many kids were out on the playground at that time? Like there's
No.
all the grades out there, or there's only your grade out there?
Well, Jamie asked Katie because she spotted my other child because when the boy did what he did to my child, my other child seen it, and my child went after to tackle him. That's what it looks like, Jamie said. And my child that was hanging by the monkey bars, she still kept hanging, and then she hung a few minutes, and then my child fell down and took off running. That's the only thing they said they seen on the video.
Yeah. Mom number 2, I mean, you said that you got to see the video. You sat in his police car and he showed you the video?
Yeah, I stood in the passenger side door, and he showed it to me on his camera.
And what
on his computer.
What did you see?
At first, all the boys are running in front of the soccer goal, like they're playing football. You can see them playing football, and then you see them run away, and then you see them like pick her up as like a celebratory thing, and you put them down, and they put him down, they take off running, and then they pick him up again and throw him on the ground, and then all the boys huddled around him, and then you see him jump up, adjust his shorts, and take off running. And you even heard the SRO that was showing me the video, like he's pointing, he's like, there's your son. You see him take off running, you see him pick him up like it's a celebratory thing, and then you see him throw him down on the ground, and then you see him jump up, adjust his pants, and take off running. That's what the SRO said.
So was he wearing shorts or was he wearing pants?
He was wearing shorts.
I gotcha. What was his attitude at the time whenever he showed you that?
Really friendly. Like, we had been best friends, or like nothing was wrong. It was very cheerful.
So, since that's happened, has the school contacted you, or has anybody contacted you about this?
The school actually called me yesterday to ask for his basketball uniform that we forgot to turn in. I'm not keeping it or anything. They can have it back.
So you're telling me the only time you've heard from the school is the 22nd? I think, today's the 22nd of October. This happened on the
14th.
14th. And you haven't. This is the first time you've heard from anybody. Not Katie Graham. Not. I
heard from Katie last Friday when he told me that he had talked to the marshals, and the marshals were talking about picking it up.
And what did he tell you? Just what did he tell you?
He told me that he's seen no point in interviewing my son and putting him through that traumatic event again, and that they were just going to use the forensic interview that they already had and give it to the marshals.
And that's the only thing you've heard. So you've heard from the chief of police over at Sallisaw School telling you that he thinks that the marshals are going to pick it up, which would indicate that one of the boys that did this to your son was Cherokee Indian. And obviously I believe that you're also tribal. Mom number one, are you Native at all?
No.
So, okay, so nobody's really contacted you other than wanting their basketball uniform back.
Yeah, and that was yesterday.
How do you feel about that?
A week after it happened. It's kind of a slap in the face, you know. They haven't called to say, you know, is your son okay or anything like that. We want our basketball uniform.
No teachers? None of his teachers reached out to you?
No.
Not a single teacher reached out to you?
No.
What about his, wasn't he in Pop Warner football?
He did play youth league football, yes.
Youth league? Did his coach reach out to him at all?
The last time we talked to our coach, or it's not our coach anymore, last time we talked to the coach was, last Tuesday when we went to turn in his football equipment.
Was that, how'd that go?
At the practice, he cried, said that, you know, he doesn't understand how this could happen, and he's really sorry, and was one of, like, the best players he had. He always gave it his all, you know, he tried the hardest. He didn't say his best player, but he said that, you know, he had the best spirit. He tried. He gave it his all every time he went out there. And then that evening, he messaged me and said that they would formally like to bring their son to apologize to my son for what happened, and that he hated to see go, and that reminded him of a lot when he was little. You was always trying and giving it his all.
No, I just, you know, I just am trying to get an overall picture of, like, how the community, you know, doesn't understand your guys' side of the story, both of you. I mean, this is a traumatic event for both of you, and we were supposed to meet up tonight and do this in person, and I understand that there's family members that are in need of assistance because there's stress involved, and so we all elected to do this over a phone conversation, which is fine for me, because I would like, you know, to let people know that both of these moms, mom 1 and 2, they want this to be a public situation, because there's high profile individuals involved with this, and it's kind of a tragedy in everybody's life. You know, the community's hurting. I don't know. Mom number 1, did you send your kids to school yesterday?
The last 2 days I have not sent my kids to school.
I hear from several parents that there's not a lot of kids in school at this point in time. I think Tuesday was our first day back, and there was less than half of the school was in session. Half of the kids were at school. Less than half. Have you guys heard anything about that?
No.
So
I've heard that there was a marshal at the Eastside and that they weren't allowed to get recess. I don't know how true that is. I also was told that there was OHP out at the high school.
Yeah, so I heard that yesterday late evening that there was 4 highway patrolmen at the high school, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. I do have a lot to say about that. But mom number one, has your daughter, has she come out any more to you guys?
My child did come out a little bit more yesterday. About it.
Right. Well, and as I understand, when my very first conversation with you, the boys that did this to her actually punched her.
Yes. My child said that they had punched her in the face.
I remember you telling me that, and I mean, I would like to believe, I mean, this is probably, I think there's differences in boys and girls. You know, a girl getting punched in the face is probably not the same as a boy getting punched in the face. I know I've been punched in the face at 8 and 10 and 12 years old, and I think it would have a different psychology to a girl getting punched in the face. And so it would, I don't know, I mean, I'm just thinking out loud, but that would probably scare, I think that would scare her into being fearful of talking about this stuff.
She literally has said that one has held her down while the other one punched her in the face. Wow.
So, with the lack of communication with the police department, the investigation, so I become aware of this case with mother number 2. It was 5:30 on that Tuesday afternoon, the day it happened. I become aware of it. And a common friend of ours called me and told me exactly what happened, and about 8:30, 9 o'clock the very next morning about it, and very disturbing. And then whenever I brought this out, I think you saw it on my Facebook page, and you come to me and said the same type of thing happened at the same school just a week earlier. And I mean, both of you, Mom 1 and 2, I mean, do you think that the communication with law enforcement and you has been adequate? Like, do you feel like that you were kept up to date, or do you think that they did their best of what they could do? Either one.
No, I don't.
I think they could have been a little bit more communicative.
I mean, it seems to me like it seems to me like they don't want this to be brought out to the public. Did they ever tell you that you shouldn't talk about it?
Katie did that day, that evening.
What did he say?
He said that, you know, we can't be talking about this on social media or to anybody because there's minors involved.
How do you respond to that?
I mean, I don't have to mention their side of the story. I mean, I can just say what happened to my son and mention his side of the story.
Right. Did Mom number 1, did he say anything to you about being silent?
Yeah, he told me not to say anything.
How'd that make you feel?
I was angry, and another reason why I was angry because my child wasn't talking.
At that time, she wasn't talking, so you knew something was wrong, and the police are telling you, don't tell anybody.
Right.
That's crazy. So, obviously, we all know that this has gotten to be quite widespread amongst, regionally. I mean, everybody from Tulsa to Fayetteville to, probably Dallas or wherever, in our region, it's very well known, especially here in Sallisaw. I've seen some posts from Shauna Morris about an incident that, we had talked about the other day, Mom Number One and I. So Mom Number One and I went over to that Child Advocacy Center. And Mom Number Two, I don't know if I had told you this prior or not, but I took Mom Number One over to the Advocacy Center, and we put a mic on Mom Number One so everything could be recorded between whatever happened in there, because she wanted the records for her daughter, and and I think that she was told, and I will play the audio from what was said in that in that advocacy group from Shauna, that Mom Number Two was told that she should take her daughter to a doctor, and that Mom Number One said she couldn't take her to her primary physician because they were related to the suspect's kid. And so I believe that she told her that you could take her to the hospital. And Mom Number Two, did you take your daughter to the hospital?
My son.
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry. Mama Number One, did you take your daughter to the hospital?
Yes.
And what happened there?
I didn't get nowhere.
What'd they do?
They ended up calling Shauna about it, and she told me that's not what she told me, that I needed to take her to a walk-in clinic or something like that and have her do a wellness check.
And so when you went over to the hospital, what did you ask for? Because I believe I was there in that conversation. I believe she told you could take her to the hospital.
Well, that's what I thought so too, but when I talked to her on the phone back there, she said that's not what she said.
Oh, so you talked to Shauna Morris while you were at the hospital?
Yeah.
What did she tell you?
She said, I didn't tell you that. I told you, take her to her primary or take her to, a walk-in clinic, Health and Wellness, and get a wellness check done on your daughter. Not a physical stamp.
What's the difference between a doctor at a hospital or a doctor at a walk-in clinic?
I don't know. I'm still trying to figure that one out.
And so what did she tell the doctors?
She didn't tell the doctors nothing. I was dealing with a nurse. Okay.
Well, did she talk to the nurse?
She talked to a nurse that was back there.
She told the nurse something, but what did the nurse tell you whenever she got done?
I ended up hanging up on Shauna because she was making me mad, really, really mad. I had another nurse in the background, can you take that on your cell phone, and in my ear about it. So I just ended up hanging up. And then the nurse that I was really dealing with, she called her back to find out what was a wellness check.
So you went to the hospital just looking for a wellness check because you feel like your daughter's been messed with, and the hospital denied service to you?
Yes.
And that happened today. So mom number two, what did you ever take your son to see a physician or a doctor?
No, I didn't.
Did they recommend to you to do that?
No, they didn't.
So they basically said that
Not that I can remember that they did.
yeah, I mean, look, so my thought process is that if the chief of police and the principal in your office has told you that your son has been penetrated, there's no question. Sure, there's a forensic interview, but there should be an exam performed to collect evidence. I'm not sure if it's a state law. I don't know if it's a regulatory thing or if it's just protocol or if it's a I don't understand why they did not do that.
Now that you say that, I do remember her somewhat saying, if it starts to like bruise or hurt or something along those lines, I could take him in.
Who said that?
The girl at the safe haven. I guess her name's Donna.
Donna. So Donna told you that if it starts hurting or if it's bruising or it's whatever, then you should take them to the doctor? You could. Did she ever tell you because you could take her? Did she ever tell you that don't take her? Or don't take him?
No.
I wouldn't think that would be too smart if they did that, but it's like using the words you could take them is kind of a influencing, saying don't do it, but if this happens you could do this. It's kind of a reverse psychology on don't do this, in my opinion. And look, let me ask you this, both of you guys. Whenever you made that interaction with the police department, did you have any inclination that you would be responsible for for taking action to secure evidence or to do whatever you thought you needed to do?
No.
So it's kind of a, it's a known thing, like, okay, if you have an incident or if a crime is committed and you contact the police and you make a report, the police is going to handle everything that needs to happen in the right order, lawfully, to protect the chain of evidence. And
right.
Was there, it sounds to me, and again, I can only draw conclusions on what you two are telling me, and look, it's the stories are identically the same. You reported this incident that happened at the school, that your daughter was violated, your son was violated. They did a forensic interview, and nothing else happened. In fact, whenever they told you, mom number one, to take your daughter to a doctor or the hospital, whenever you did take them, it sounds to me like they shut you down. The actual person that told you to take them over there was called, and they said no, the case is closed and there's no need to do anything. Is that what really happened? That's what happened today, it sounds like.
I took her yesterday, and yeah, that's pretty much her exact words is, Sean's exact words is, if anything's got to be done, it's my child needs to start speaking, and she needs to speak it to Donna before they'll do anything about it. And I have to reopen the case by going to Jack Thorpe to do that.
So you got to go to the district attorney to reopen this case, and you can only reopen this case because You can only reopen this case if your daughter starts speaking.
And she speaks to Donna Owens about it.
So look, in anybody's opinion, if a crime is committed, I don't know, like with minors, like the parents are responsible. The parents are responsible for those minors. That's why they define them as minors. And when they're 18 years old, the parents are no longer responsible for what those minors are. They become adults. And so I would like to believe that if a minor comes to you and says, your child comes to you and say, hey, this really bad thing happened to me, that they could investigate it. And part of that investigation is to looking to see if there's any evidence to say that there is a penetration. And I don't think that anyone has done that, nor are they allowing that to be done. You tried to take them to a doctor and it was shut down yesterday morning. I don't understand that. Mom, number two, was there anything that was even similar to this with you?
No, not really.
Because you never took your son to the doctor.
No.
Did they where is it now? Like where is what do you know that's happening now?
Right now, as of today, I got a call from the Cherokee Marshals from an investigator that I will be speaking with them tomorrow. So I believe the nation has picked up my case, or this situation.
Well, I heard on today at Channel 5 News that Jack Thorpe picked that case up.
I heard that too. So how can two people have the same case?
Well,
or investigation, I should say, not case.
So there could be a split investigation if not all parties involved being investigated are all tribal.
That's true.
So my understanding is that if a crime is committed against a native, that it falls under state regulation if the perpetrator is not native. And so if you have multiple perpetrators, they could split that off. So if you've got two native perpetrators, and then you've got another one, because I believe there was 3 in your case, mom number 2, that one could be Caucasian or not native. I'll just say not native, and I don't know the races of the Indians. I was just saying that, let's just say non-native. And the other 2 are native, then the Cherokee Nation would be responsible or the FBI could come in and take it from the nation. So it's either going to be a federal case, or it's going to be it'll be handled under the Cherokee Nation, and if it is a federal case, which I hope it is. I think that it would be a much better. I think the FBI has a lot more resources than the nation. But if it is a federal case, then they could pick up all 3. All 3 individuals would be under that jurisdiction. It'd just be a federal case. If it stays in the nation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation doesn't pick that case up, then I believe it would go to the one that's not native. The perpetrators that are not native would fall under Jack Thorpe, which would be, in my opinion, a very bad situation. And I don't think Jack Thorpe could even touch this, because it's
Only two of them are suffering consequences for what they did. The third one never got suspended, and he got to stay at school.
Oh, really? I that's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, only 2 of them got in trouble for it.
There's 3 doing this, but only 2 got in trouble.
Yes, he said 2 of them held them down, and 1 of them did it.
And so, how do they differentiate which one didn't get to stay? How do they differentiate? How do they differentiate who gets what
know.
punishment?
I don't know. I was only told that 2 of them got suspended for it, and the other one got to stay at school.
Do you know who? Do you have any idea who got to stay at school? Like what relationship to the
No.
community is he?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I know one that got suspended, and I don't know which of the other 2 got suspended.
Wow. Mom number 1, with your daughter, I read somewhere, or somebody had disclosed to me or told me that one of the key indicators that your daughter may have said, and I don't know if it's true or not, and that's why I'm asking, is that the boys that did this had colored hair.
Yes, that's what she was claiming.
I think that would be. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what she was claiming. She claimed that there was 2 boys. I believe they had both dyed hair, or one had dyed hair, but it was blue and green. She did mention last night that there was a boy that done it was brown-headed.
So this is just as late as of last night.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's slowly talking, but she's not quite wanting to fully come out with it.
Well, she will eventually. And there's no time frame. And that's the beautiful thing. There's no time frame in this. It's been reported. The crisis center over there, the child advocacy center, said that if she comes out and talks about it, then the case needs to be reopened. I personally am dissatisfied that they opened and closed the case. When they did open that case, or actually, I'm sorry, when they closed that case, how did you find out about that?
You? I did not know about it until you told me about it.
Yeah, I believe if I remember correctly, I heard about it, and I called and asked you, I said, did you hear that your case was closed? And you said no, and so I gave you Katie's phone number, and then I believe that you called him, and then that's when he told you. I remember giving you Katie's number.
Yeah, but I called it, but nobody picked up. He didn't pick up. It went straight to voicemail.
Did you ever talk to Katie about that case being closed?
No.
Who told you that case was closed?
I just hear it from grapevine that it's closed. He's never contacted me, and I haven't been able to reach out to him.
Yeah, he's not going to answer. He won't even answer my calls anymore. So you're telling me that I'm the one that told you?
Yes.
Because I called Katie that night. He didn't answer his phone for me, but he responded to some texts the very next morning. And I have all those texts that, hey, I'm hearing that this place is closed, and when was it closed? And he didn't want to respond to me, but he eventually did and said it was closed on the... I can't remember. I'd have to go back and look, but I can't remember if it was on the 9th or the 13th. But it was a very, very short amount of time for an investigation on these type of allegations. It blows my mind that he would not give you the courtesy to tell you that this case is closed and they don't have enough evidence to move forward, which I don't believe. I absolutely don't believe that. Mom number 2, did they ever tell you that they closed the case, or how did you find out that it went to the marshals?
Katie had mentioned that he was talking to the marshals and that they was going to be looking over his forensic interview, and they contacted me today and told me that they was looking into it also.
When's the last time you talked to KD?
Last Friday.
Have you
October 17th.
have you tried to reach out to him since, or no?
No.
Really, no need to.
No.
Was there ever a point like you felt like they were lying to you?
I don't know, really.
Yeah, October the 8th.
What happened that day?
When Jamie asked him about the video, because she recognized my other child. She described my other child to a T, and I said, yeah, that is her. And that's when she asked KD, well, is it all three, or is it just third or fourth grade? And he said it was third and fourth grade of the morning recess. And I have found out by other students that go to Eastside that no, it's third, fourth, and fifth graders in the morning recess.
And is Katie the school resource officer there, or is it Officer Kirk?
I was told that Katie is the chief of the police for the Sallisaw schools.
Right, but who's the actual resource officer over at that school?
I believe it's Officer Kirk.
Is it Kirk? Yeah. Yeah. I have you spoke to Officer Kirk about this at all?
No.
So mom number two, who was investigating your case?
I talked to Katie and Kirk. I talked to them both.
Okay, so both of them were investigating it.
Yes.
Okay, because I know I had spoke at length to Officer Kirk about several things. Obviously, whenever I asked, I'm sure you guys heard the conversation that I had with Katie Graham, that I wanted to get a redacted copy of the police report, and he had to go talk to the judge. I'd talked to Katie Kirk that day, and then I talked to Officer Kirk that evening, and I wanted to kind of get explanation of why would a chief of police need to talk to a judge to get the authorization to release a redacted report, a police report. And you know, we all know who is part of the perpetrators in your case, mom number two. Mom number one, I don't think we quite know exactly who that is, or I don't think you do.
Well, she did say yesterday it was the brown-headed boy. It was an upper level grader than her.
And she's in fourth grade?
She's in third.
In third. So did she mean that it would be in fourth or in fifth?
She wasn't sure if it was fourth or fifth, but she did know it was a grade ahead of her.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, until she's ready to talk, I mean, I don't want to speculate, but I'm sure that I'm sure it will eventually come out here, probably sooner than later, because she's speaking more now than she was earlier. But you know, obviously, I think you guys both have seen, you know, the news reports that have come out. What do you think about that? What do you think about that, mom number two?
I think they kind of somewhat twisted the story some to what I was saying. And since their lawyer has, like, made a post, or, I mean, a comment, it feels like, you know, they're kind of just brushing my story to the side now.
The news stations are trying to just make it look like there's nothing to see here, like it didn't happen. I mean, obviously I saw an article that said that this has all been sensationalized and these are all false allegations.
Right, and for them to say that they kept playing afterwards, or, you know, that they was just friends, I've been telling them for a week that all these boys were friends. They played football together. They had been to swim parties together. And it took their lawyer saying something for the news to say that these boys were friends.
Were they friends after this incident happened?
No.
So the minute this happened to your son, he had no friendship engagement with these other boys at all?
No. When we went to football to turn his stuff in, all the boys hollered, "We love your son," and they all, like, come and gave him a big group hug and told him that he was the man, and that was the last we had anything to do with Sallisaw.
Were the kids that did this to him, were they on the football team also?
Yes, they were.
Were they there when they gave him a big group hug?
No, they were not.
Yeah,
At that time, I was told that they were not going to be on the team for a while, or they weren't going to be at practice.
How long did that last?
I heard they went back to practice Monday night, I believe. Today, Wednesday. Yeah, I heard they went back to practice Monday night.
Well, I don't know if you saw the video. Either one of you guys saw the video, but I went over there Tuesday night to ask the coach, like, where's the player? Because my big concern is that your son's given up so much, and he had, because this happened to him. I mean, it's not only has this happened to him, he's not able to play football because those other kids. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and he's lost people who, he thought he could consider friends.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a level of trust that's been violated there.
Yes.
So I would imagine that that would be hard. I mean, yeah.
To have to give up a sport you've worked so hard in, and to move from schools that you've been at since you was in pre-K.
Right.
It's a big adjustment in a whole week span, in a whole 7 days.
Oh yeah, no, that's insane. To have to do that.
We spent 3 nights a week with this football group.
Right. Did you see the video of the coach whenever I asked him where's the kid, and how he flailed his arms like he's just gone?
Yeah, and that really aggravated me, because that was the coach that said my child reminded him a lot of him when he was little. So he was all nice and friendly till we went public about it. And now I'm giving false accusations, and I'm not telling the whole story, and I'm not being completely truthful. But this is the football coach that hugged my son and me and cried and said he's so sorry that this happened, and he doesn't understand how this could happen.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I only know one of the individuals, and I don't know any of these kids. I mean, I'm just saying I know who they are or who they're related to. I don't know any of the other 2 kids. I don't know who they're related to. I've heard, that they're related to some pretty high figures in the community. And when you saw that football coach just swish his hands like that, like he's just gone with the wind, and he didn't want to answer any questions. And I don't think that I was being aggressive with him at all. I just wanted to know, why don't I see, your son out there? And, I was expecting an answer. I mean, anytime I ask a question, guys, I kind of have an idea what the answer is going to be, or like I at least have an idea of what I want the answer to be.
Right.
And so whenever I asked him that question, I was expecting for him to say, he's taking some time off, we love him. We think of him as a teammate, that, we want him to be back on the team as soon as possible. Something along the lines that, you have not empathy, and the coach didn't even give empathy. I was looking for sympathy, and I saw, yeah, I was looking, when I asked that question, I was looking for sympathy, and I would have settled for empathy. And there's a big difference between the two, but what I got was just, I don't even know what I got. I watched that video 4 or 5 times, and the way he swished his hands like he's just gone with the wind. I don't want to talk to you. And I'll be honest with both of you, it made me mad. And I don't get mad very often, but whenever I asked a question, I was hoping to get a good answer back, and what he did irritated me to the point to where when he walked away, I said, "Hey, where are you going?" And he goes, "To coach my team." His team is without your son. And I told him to don't be a puss, meaning you're evading a question that the public really needs to know the answer to, I believe. No, and I wouldn't have wasted if I didn't think it was an important question, why is your son not allowed to be on the team? Or why, and let me rephrase that, not allowed to be on the team, but your son doesn't want to be on the team. And there's a big difference there, because when you want to be on a football team, as the coach said that he's one of the best players on the team, you don't want to get, as a 10-year-old or 11-year-old kid, you don't want to give that up. You want to be out there with your friends.
He said he had the best try. I should have said best player, because my son didn't get to play a lot, but he said he had like the most try, and he gave it everything he had every time he was out on the field.
Sure.
He had the biggest heart.
Sure. And that's, and you couldn't ask for more than that. And if he was true to that, if the coach was true to what he's telling you, he wouldn't. I don't think he would have reacted to my question the way that he reacted. I think it would have been a totally different answer to that question. And I don't know if you saw what happened after that. They called the cops on me, and they said that I was saying racial, or I'm not, I keep saying racial slurs, sexual innuendos and slurs to all the players on the field. That's absolutely not what happened. But I can tell you that the coach, I don't know who he was. He had the beard. I think he's maybe a son of Jimmy Dale Rogers. I don't know. He's a county commissioner. I think he was on the phone. I witnessed him call, and he was watching me. He was looking at me when he was on the phone. And I even told the folks that I was with, they're sitting on the bench over there by the bleachers. I said, the cops will be here in 10 minutes. I said, that guy just called the cops. And they was like, no, he ain't no cops going to be here. And it wasn't 10 minutes, and we had the whole police force there. Everybody that was on duty, I believe, was there. You had the lieutenant, and this was 8 o'clock at night, so this was night shift. So you had the lieutenant, and then you had 2 other officers, or I'm sorry, 4 other officers showed up, and a highway patrolman. And so it didn't work out well for the people that called. I'm going to file charges on them. That doesn't matter, and I don't want to get off track here, but I just wanted to know why your son wasn't on the field practicing with all of his friends whenever this had happened to him. And so And I'm understanding now. I didn't know this until you told me tonight that the other boys that did this to him is back out there practicing.
Yes, they both are.
That's crazy to me.
They were back out there Monday evening.
Well, what is that?
Small town for you.
What does that tell you?
It just tells me what I really thought the whole time, that my son was just another body there, and they really didn't care. I mean, they probably cared, to an extent. And he was really close to one of those coaches. So that was really hard also, If you could never find my son on the football field, I guarantee you he was standing next to that coach.
Have you heard from the coaches at all? I think I asked you that question earlier, but I have you heard from any of them?
Not since last Tuesday. When I went on the news last Wednesday, that was pretty much the icing on the cake, you could say, with probably them wanting to talk to us ever again.
Why?
They probably didn't want this to be out and about. Is what I'm thinking.
Mom number one, you've seen all the news stories, have you not?
Yes.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me angry that two kids had to go through this when they shouldn't have to go through this.
Is there anything that your daughter had to give up since this incident happened?
Yeah, she doesn't want to go back to that school.
Don't blame her. So let me ask you. Let me ask both of you this, and there's a lot of momentum in the community, with what's gone on because it's been made public, guys. I believe that's absolutely the right thing to do. I know that you both have been, and I believe 1,000% everything that you're telling me. I know that Katie Graham told you do not speak a word about this to anybody. There is absolutely, I have the video that he said he had to talk to the judge. I have the rest of that conversation that I never released, and he told me exactly that he does not like things ever to be out in the public because he thinks that it damages the investigation. My opinion of that is it takes the control out of their hands of that investigation, because if the public knows that there's evidence available, they can't suppress that evidence by saying that it didn't happen. Oh, I didn't have that, or I didn't know. Well, you can't know if everybody else in the public knows. So you can't say you can't fall back on that. And so with taking this public, what do you want to see happen? What would be what's the end goal? Like, where would you like to see? What would you want to see happen to these kids that did this?
Personally, me, I want to see better school policies in place. Like, I want to see better supervision. Like, there should always be a teacher up walking the playground. There should be a certain amount of teachers on the playground. There's quite a few kids on recess. Somebody always needs to be walking around. And maybe longer than 5 days.
Yeah, so hitting on that, my understanding, I believe I talked to you, mom number two, I talked to you very early, the very next morning that this happened. And I think if I recall, you said there was a teacher about 14 or 15 feet away from this just watching.
Yes, that's what I was told by Mr. Jones, that on camera he did have a teacher that was about 15 foot away in the gazebo, and he said that he also had like several custodians in and out of the cafeteria at that time cleaning up because it was after lunch. But, you know, a custodian's not going to be paying attention to what's on the playground. Their job is to clean and to get their job done. Yes,
So,
you know, if they see something going on, they should. And my son said there was not a teacher in the gazebo. He said there was only two, and they was up, I believe he said, like on the basketball court in front of the swings. And he said they were talking or either on their phones. He said they were like scrolling, like it looked like that they was scrolling on their phones.
before this happened?
Yes, like while they was outside on recess.
Yeah, and I mean that's pretty typical. People like to be on their phones. I think the phones have a big impact in schools. In fact, they just took all the phones away from the kids. Governor Stitt did, because it impacts the education process, and you know maybe they need to take the phones away from the teachers too.
We have walkie-talkies where I work. I'm not saying, you know, we're not on our phones.
Right.
But, you know, invest in walkie-talkies. Put your phone up. You know, everybody can do better at their job. You know, you always need to improve.
Yeah, and so, you know, look, these 10-year-old kids. So I've been very public about this because both of you guys come to me to take this public. And I appreciate that, and I'm very proud to be able to do that. And one of the things that I've said that, you know, people need to be charged. And I think I've talked to both of you about this, and again, but and before I go into that, let me ask, Mom number one, what is your end result? I don't want to skip that.
I'm with her on that, on what she said. And another thing I would want to add is at least not just two on the playground, more than two. At least 3 or 4, especially having that many kids on that playground.
Sure. You know, they're kind of like, that reminds me kind of like they should be like lifeguards, right? They should always be watching the kids, because kids do bad things sometimes. They can't be watching the kids if they got a cell phone in their hand. Can't do it. And so, and I agree with you. I think there needs to be more supervision. Schools don't like that because it costs more money because they have to have more employees. And what's crazy about it is when you got a superintendent, such as Steve Barrett, and you got a principal, you know, like John Jones, that are managing the budget. They don't put I believe, and this is coming from me, and I don't know, you know, I don't think either one of us has ever talked about this part of it, but you know, there's a school budget and it all comes down to dollars, right? So, you know, sacrificing kids' safety to save $1 is not what a school should be doing. And in Sallisaw, there's a problem with sexual issues in these schools, even in the high school. Multiple accounts have happened in the last year and a half, 2 years, and there's no telling how many other incidences that have happened and had not come forth because people are afraid to talk about it. You know, I'm glad that you guys are very public about this, because the community needs to know, because changes can't be made until everybody knows what's going on. And so, I both have, you know, talked publicly about wanting charges to be pressed, and I want to make this very clear that not so much charges on the kids. I mean, they're 10-year-old kids. I mean, they don't know right. Well, they should know right from wrong when it comes to this. I mean, I'm not going to excuse a 10-year-old kid doing what either one of those kids had done to any of your kids. That's, I think you're almost born with that. That's not right. You know, you got a conscience. People have consciences, and that's just not a non-conscionable thing. It has to fall upon your conscience that you shouldn't do that to somebody else. You don't want it done to you. You don't want to do it to somebody else. But what I do want
I always teach my kids, don't do to others that you don't want done to you.
Correct. And I'm sure both of you guys do. Look, that's an American staple when it comes to raising kids. I can assure you, out of 350 million people in America that have, whatever number of families there are out there, I bet 90% of those families tell their kids, do not do upon others that you don't want to be done upon you. That is something that I believe everybody teaches their kids. Now, whether they adhere to it or not, I don't know. But here's the thing. I want charges pressed upon the superintendent. I want charges pressed upon John Jones. I want charges pressed upon this teacher that was 15 feet away on her phone. They failed, guys. In my sight, in my line of thinking, the school failed both of you guys. Both of you guys.
Yes.
And the kids. All of the kids.
And that's what me and my family have said. We want the school held accountable.
And so.
Yes, the school needs to do better.
Yeah. So the school needs to be held accountable for all the kids. For the kids that did this, even. If that teacher would have saw what's going on, they could have probably stopped this.
Right.
With a whistle. Hell, every time I went to school, everybody out on the playground had a whistle. When the whistle blowed, you stopped.
Yes.
I don't know what they do now. I mean, it's been a long time ago, but the accountability part, when I talk about accountability, it's not, yes, holding the kids accountable, suspending them for a year, hold them back a year, great. Is it going to affect them long term? No. Are they, should they be allowed to play football? No. Your son should be on the football team, and your daughter should be doing whatever she wants to be doing. She shouldn't have had her dignity taken away from her in front of all of her friends, and then also too, sports or whatever extracurricular activities, that shouldn't be taken away from them either, and it has been. And that upsets me. And so, who is responsible for this? Well, the superintendent is. He's the main guy. The buck stops with that guy. Why did he hire John Jones, the principal, put him in a position that is to protect those kids? And he failed. He failed to protect your kids. And
exactly.
And he hired teachers that don't care enough about those kids that they're going to be on their cell phones. They're not watching those kids because this happened. So who's accountable, right? Who's accountable for these actions that have been taken? It's it's the management of that school. And those kids are not safe under that management, in my opinion. And I believe that's why 50% of the community feels the same way, because 50% of the schools didn't have, or 50% of the kids didn't go to school the next day.
And that's what I told him when I went to pull both of my sons out of Sallisaw. I said I dropped him off thinking he was in a safe space, and Mr. Jones said, "You don't feel that they're safe here anymore?" And I said, "No, I do not."
He asked you. you say that again. I did not. I want to make sure I heard that. What did he tell you?
When I told him I was pulling both of my sons out of school, I said, I dropped my son off here yesterday morning. He rode the bus, actually. I said, anyways, my son come to school, and me thinking he was in a safe space, and he said, "You don't feel that they're safe here anymore?" And I said, "No, I do not."
I don't know if John Jones is going to ever listen to this, but I hope he does. But I have a message for John. You're an idiot if you ask a parent that just had their son assaulted and ask them if you feel like this school isn't safe anymore. Wow. Wow. I don't even know what to say to that. No, you're not gonna.
Me
No,
either, but
no, you're not. I no, you're not gonna say safe.
Hey, John?
Yes.
I'm gonna have to start wrapping this up and
Okay.
getting my kids around for school tomorrow.
Sure, absolutely. You can go. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. I love conversations like this because it lets everybody know like where you're coming from. But anyhow, mom number 2, if you want to take and go, I thank you. I thank you for
You're welcome.
putting this out public and letting me help get that out there in the public. And this is far from over. This is going to go on for years before this really actually gets settled.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm glad that you guys are doing good. I'm sure your son's doing much better in his new school. It's probably a little bit of adjustment for him, but
Yes, it is.
and I hope that I do, and I don't know if I told you this earlier today before you go, but my Facebook group, I've gotten messages today that people want to reach out and start helping you guys fund for an attorney to represent you, and that can come later, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But you've got a tremendous amount of support out there, and they want to see, this wrong get righted by adjusting the school administrations. But anyhow, go take care of your kids, and I will talk to you soon. And mom number 1, hang with me just for a little bit.
Well, there's something I want to say before she gets off.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. I Tuesday went to Walmart to get some stuff, and I noticed a bunch of boys there. They looked like they were high school, and I asked him. I said, "Are you from the high school?" They said yes. I said, "Did you walk out at 11:15?" And they said yes. And they said that was bull crap for what they only got 5 days suspension. And I explained to them, I said, my child was one of the other victims, and I thanked them for doing that. I said, I thank you for
so
doing
much.
Both of those kids.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm here for you. I mean, I appreciate. I wanted you to know that.
Us mamas, we have to sit together and protect our babies because, they didn't ask to be brought into this world. We brought them in, and it's our job to protect them and to make sure they get the love that they need and the protection that they need. It's our job. So us mamas, we got to sit together.
Yes. Well, I have a story I will tell you later on that one, but yeah.
Well, ma'am, you have a great night, and it was great talking to you.
You too.
All right, bye, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Mom number 1.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that there's a lot of support for you, for both of you. I know that the media didn't pick up your case because Katie closed that case very, very prematurely, and so
Yeah, I know that.
most news media outlets are not gonna cover a story that was open and closed, that there's no active investigation. That's what they do. And I would not, I could speculate and say that they closed your case early, maybe just to keep it out of the news. That would be a tactic that they could do to keep this quiet. They told you they didn't want you to speak about it. They don't want it to be known. That's been told to me by Katie Graham himself. I've got the audio, and I'm going to be releasing that audio. Is there anything that you need?
I'm debating on sending them back to school tomorrow. I know they don't want to go back, neither one of them. My other child said that she's confirmed that she's been bullied at school. I'm seriously thinking about putting them in ethics. Homeschooling them.
Does that cost you anything?
No, it shouldn't, and if it does, their insurance should pick it up.
Okay, well, if that costs you anything, let me know, please. And I assure you I can help you with that.
Yeah, matter of fact, this morning I was talking to their caseworker for their insurance, and we were getting it set up where they could help me with other fundings if they need it, like ethics, school, tutoring, and all that. So.
Okay, well, we will be talking. I think we talk pretty much every day. And I'll be updating you with what I know on what comes in with me, from my followers, or, from the community that have eyeballs out there. And, well,
there's one thing that I want to say before we get off is the issue with Monday. I was very angry towards the end when she walked in the room.
Oh, you're talking about Tuesday when we went over there?
No, that was Monday when we went over there.
I apologize. You're right. Today's Wednesday. I apologize. Yeah, Monday. So, you're talking about when Donna come in the room?
Yes.
What did she say that angered you?
Well, when I first walked in, she didn't want to talk to me. She pointed at Shauna. And that's when Shauna took us out there and started talking to us. And then towards the end, that's when she wanted to bring her little in there and then want to start talking to me. And I come almost telling her, why are you out here when you didn't want to speak to me in the beginning when I walked in?
That's right. I forgot because we walked in and that doorway was open, and Donna, there was two people in there, and you said, hey, I want to pick up those records. And then that's when I was behind you, and I didn't really see what happened because you were in the doorway. And so is that when you was talking about when we first walked in and you asked for those records?
Yes, I looked at Donna and I asked for the records, and she, for Harper, and that's when she pointed over there at Shauna, and that's when Shauna took us out to talk to us about the situation. And we were out there good 15, 20 minutes talking to her when Donna finally decided to come out there and started talking to me about my daughter. And I come close to saying, well, why are you out here now when you didn't want to talk to me in the beginning? You shoved me over to your supervisor. Yeah.
It's funny about that whole thing. Yeah, and I'm honestly glad that it worked out that way. That we got to talk to Shauna for a long time. I think it was about 25 minutes. But, whenever she came out of that room, it wasn't within a minute, or it may be 30 seconds that, she was quite angry with what was happening, and that it was public, and that she had mentioned that the Sallisaw transparency page had a bunch of crap on it. And I know she didn't recognize me, or she didn't know who I was until I told her who I was, that I was Sean Buckner and I was the creator of that page. And then things kind of went haywire from there. She was escorted back to her cubby hole over there in that room. And so and then that was pretty much the end of that conversation. I think that we got as much information as Shauna was able to give us, which was to take your daughter to another doctor or the hospital if you need to, and have her checked out. And that's what we did. Or that we got that information from Shauna, which is what we needed to do, and then you took her over to the hospital under the recommendation of Shauna, and Shauna shut that down again, which really is kind of a crazy. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it, but.
Well, yeah, I did some more research, and one of her siblings, I know one of her siblings.
Who?
Shauna's sibling.
Oh,
I know her.
She's got a sister?
She's got several sisters.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, being related to people sometimes doesn't make that person do things inappropriately or not follow, regulations or protocol. But I don't know anything about either one of those Donna Owens. I do know that Donna Owens is married to Jack Owens, which is Jack Thorpe's investigator here for Sequoia County. And so if Jack Thorpe does anything with this investigation, it's going to be a conflict of interest because of who they're investigating. And so it's not going to be able to stay in this county. Or I don't think any neighboring county.
I don't want it in this county.
No.
I don't want it in this county.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to stay there. And I do believe that there are attorneys that are looking for this case. I know that people have been contacted for this, and they're going to wait till this is they're going to wait to file suit against the school, and I think you're going to be able to enjoy part of that lawsuit.
I mean, I want them to be punished. I want them to realize what they did was wrong. But I want it done in the right, proper way.
Right. No, and I agree with that. No, I get it. Well, I'm glad that you wanted to take this public, because I think if you didn't take this public, it would have been swept under the rug. Nothing would have happened.
Oh, I know. And my dad said so too. My dad said it don't need to be, something needs to be done. It needs to stand up. Don't hush. And if something physically happens to me, I know where I go to heaven. So I want to make sure another kid has to go through this again.
No, and I think a lot of people in Sallisaw want the exact same thing. They don't want this to happen again, and that's why they kept their kids home to send a message to the administration that this is unacceptable. And it is unacceptable. But I'm gonna. Is there anything else you want to say? Because I'm gonna.
Not offhand what I can think. I know I'm tired, and not.
I know it's stressful for you, and it's stressful for everybody. But I know it's highly stressful for you. But
it's more stressful when I'm debating what I should do on their schooling.
Right. If we had a good administration, you wouldn't have to have that debate. If you had a good administration that would protect your kid, you wouldn't have to sit here and think about what you're going to do with your kid, because this wouldn't have happened. I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
So, anyhow, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to let you get back to your family, and I appreciate it. And your family's in our prayers, and mom number two's family's in our prayers. And I learned a few things tonight that I didn't know, and I think that it's a crazy world that we live in, and how people don't want to take responsibility for their actions or inactions, I should say, in this. And
right.
And hopefully we can shed enough light on it that the justice system will not let us down again. That's what I'm hoping.
Right.
So, okay, well, I am going to let you get back to your family, and if there is anything that you need, you can call me. If there is any fees that it takes to put your kid in school, I am absolutely sure I can help you with that. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye bye.